Welcome to the Brooklyn Knitfolk podcast. My name is Jacqueline. This is episode number 50. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry is at Jacqueline Salem. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are a new viewer, hello and welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for continuing to check out what I've been making from week to week. This podcast is usually about knitting and sewing and then sometimes whatever crafty things I just want to try. And if you didn't already know, I live in Brooklyn, New York with my two cats. This is Mika, who's decided she wants to perch on my lap for the time being. So let's get into the episode, shall we? No finished objects to share with you this week. However, I do have a hoe, and that is a half object, living in this amazing Snow White project bag that Raquel made for me. It's just so subtly Snow White. I love that it doesn't hit you over the head with it. And this super cute, it just looks vintage, honestly, but I have no clue if it is or not. It just looks like it. But this little vintage button with a shank button that she turned into a zipper pull that has Snow White on it, and I just think it's adorable. Living in that bag are the socks for Mom. These are the socks on a plain socks that I have been knitting for my mom, who requested another pair of socks in a blue color because she wants to wear them with jeans more often. So of course my mom is one of the most knit-worthy people in my life, so I cast on Mika. I cast on a pair immediately out of hedgehog fibers in the Hurricane colorway. I was at Argyle Yarn Shop. I've already told the story, but in case you're new, I was at Argyle Yarn Shop and sent pictures of all the different skeins of yarn to my mom, and this is the one that she picked. And I have a half-finished object. I just have to Kitchener the toe. Mika is going crazy. Excuse me, that's mine. Thank you so much for helping. And like I said, this is the Socks on a Plain pattern by Laura Lindman. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It is my go-to sock pattern. I knit a really long leg on this, maybe too long. But I personally prefer long socks. Mika, okay, we're gonna have to stop here. Be good or you're getting down. Sorry, where was I? Lost my train of thought. Oh, I prefer long legs on my socks, and I know that my mom usually wears trouser socks. She wears a lot of trouser socks, so I think she'll appreciate a longer leg on a sock. And as is my custom, I have a 2x2 rib here, long leg, the foot, and then I just have to Kitchener the toe. I also hope that the toe or the leg, or one more time, also hope that the foot isn't too long. I knit it about an inch longer than I knit my socks. I'm an 8 to an 8.5 shoe, and she's a size 10 shoe. So hopefully these will fit. What I'm going to do is probably mail her this sock, have her try it on, take notes first before I send it to her about how many repeats I've done for the cable pattern, and then have her report back and let me know if it's too big or if it fits fine or if indeed it needs more knitting on it. So we shall see. This is a Fish Lips Kiss heel that's been modified into a half garter stitch version. So the first half that I knit, I did all in garter stitch, and then the bottom half I just did in stockinette. I was intending on doing the whole thing in garter stitch, but honestly I just couldn't stand to knit a garter stitch heel on a gauge as tight as you need for socks. It was just really difficult to get into. And as I have heard from other people, whenever I'm doing any sort of decreasing with this yarn, the yarn is pretty splitty actually. It's hedgehog fiber sock, and I have heard about it before, but the plies are just really loose. I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see that or not because it's so dark. But the plies are pretty loose in it, so whenever I'm trying to do any sort of decreasing, or digging into it honestly, because I guess there's not really decreasing, there's increasing and decreasing on the heel, but any sort of thing where I have to really get minute with the stitches and with 2 stitches at a time, it is not the friendliest of yarns for that purpose. So yeah, we'll see. I cast on the second one because after I was finished with this first one, minus the Kitchener, like I said, I just kind of felt like I'm kind of over this sock right now, and it's nothing, I don't really know why. I love this pattern, and I'm liking sock knitting right now, but I just am not feeling it at the moment. I don't know why. My knitting mojo has kind of been like not at its greatest lately. I think it's because I have so many rules right now about where all my projects live, like Subway socks, Subway sweater, a design. It's just like so many kind of too many rules for myself about when and where I'm supposed to be working on these projects that I really just kind of need to let myself be free to just work on what I want to work on when I want to work on it. So I think that that's kind of how I've been feeling with this, is that like I'm only allowed to knit this on the subway, but I'm only supposed to knit my sweater on the subway for my subway sweater. I don't know. It's silly. So, I mean, sometimes it's good because it just kind of is motivating and fun to change things up a little bit, but right now I think I like took it a little bit too far, and that my brain, when I'm at home, I'm like, well, I don't know what to work on because I don't have anything I can work on, which is like not true at all. So yeah, loosening the reins on that, I have decided a little bit, but I will keep taking this on the subway with me just because right now I am feeling a little bit like I don't want to work on it. So I think if it's the only thing I have with me on the subway, then I will be more inclined to work on it. So second sock is cast on, no second sock syndrome. We'll mail my mother these socks, which are technically going to be her Mother's Day present. Hi Mom, happy Mother's Day, which is next weekend. They won't be finished in time for Mother's Day, but I think she'll be understanding of that. So I think that's all I want to say about these socks. Nothing too crazy, just a fun pattern that I really, really like and enjoy and have knit several times now. All right, works in progress. This one you haven't seen yet, but I did share it on Instagram. It's a baby cardigan. Look how cute it is. Oh, I love it so much. It's adorable, if I do say so myself. Look at this. So Stacy Elstone, who is Stress Knits, she's Stacy Elstone on Instagram, and she's Stress Knits for her yarn company and for her podcast. She's pregnant right now. She's had a really, really rough time of it this pregnancy. If you want to hear about that, you can watch not the most recent episode, but the episode before that she posted. Anyway, all seems to be well now-ish, finally, and she has a daughter that is due in July 4th at the earliest is when they're trying to push for. So I've been wanting to knit her a baby cardigan for her little girl, and I just had to knit her a faded cardigan because if you didn't know, Stacy Elstone is the only person, or I guess Stacy Oliver, but okay, this is an aside that has nothing to do with it. Stacy is the only person who has ever convinced me to knit a faded garment, like a faded pattern, I guess, if you will. And so because she was the person that inspired me to knit a faded item, I knit the What the Fade shawl by Andrea Mowry. Hi, Jafar. Almost entirely, basically I just copied what Stacy did to the best of my ability with my own yarn stash. So it's almost entirely Stress Knits yarn, Sweet Sparrow yarns, and one skein of Primrose Yarn Company. And so I had to knit this baby cardigan out of that yarn, which is what I've done. So this is the pattern Garter Baby Yolk. I keep saying yolk like an egg. Garter Baby Yoke cardigan. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and the only difference is that I've done the entire thing in garter stitch instead of just the yoke. So you stop kind of right here and then knit stockinette stitch down instead of the garter, but I just kept going with the garter because I loved the way that it looked. So if you're interested in knowing what the yarns are that I used in this, you can look at my What the Fade shawl pattern, and I'll probably make a project page for this too. But really quickly, Chelsea Morning by Sweet Sparrow Yarns, that fades into Knitfolk by Stress Yarns, which was a colorway that she dyed inspired by me. Bell Jar by Stress Knits. And then I had another colorway that I was supposed to use in between that, but I didn't have that much of it. Except, I mean, I have a full skein, but I don't want to break into this full skein for that. But this is Sweet Stressfolk, a colorway that Stacy dyed, inspired by mine, Julie's, and her friendship. It's like a blush pink with chartreuse and mint in it. But I had very little leftovers left of that, not enough to do much for the body, so I skipped that one and went back into, I used Mika and Jafar. Anywhere that you see like the black speckles, that's where Mika and Jafar kind of is, a little bit right here. I didn't have a ton of that. And then faded back into Chelsea Morning, which is the colorway up here, and then finally into the Read Between the Lines by Primrose Yarn Company, which is the most pink of all of them. So I still have the sleeves to do. It's on waste yarn right now. That shouldn't take very long because baby arms are so short, but I just think this is so cute. It calls to have a button band on it and some buttons, but I don't really want to do that. I'm going to knit an I-cord edge along this right here because the side where I was fading in the colors got really messy. So I want to knit an I-cord edge along here to kind of neaten that up, and I'll do it on this side as well just to kind of make it sure that it looks symmetrical and neat. And then I'll probably knit an I-cord edge around the bottom of the sleeve. We'll see. I haven't decided on that yet. So I still have a few leftovers in my project bag, hopefully enough to eke out these sleeves. If not, I can stash dive for like minis or something. Something will work. I don't know. We'll see. This is just a really fun, cute, scrappy project. And again, this is the Garter Yoke Baby Cardi, a free pattern on Ravelry. If you search like baby sweaters or something and filter the free and by the most popular, it's one of the first ones that come up, so you can't miss it. It's got so many projects, thousands I want to say. So yay, love this. Love it so much. So fast too. This is what I knit over the Farm and Fiber Tour weekend. This is all I knit on, which is hilarious because I brought like 3 other projects with me, including my crochet blanket. Nope, all I worked on was this all weekend. I was just like, get it done, get it done, get it done. Because every new row that I knit on it, it just got cuter and cuter the more that I went. So sweet. So just a quick update on my design project, which is a sock design inspired by the library. This I thought would be 3rd time is the charm, but apparently it's not. And I'm not going to show you the front with all of the details on it quite yet because I still haven't worked out yet how to best do this. It's not a complicated pattern at all. It's more that like I want to make sure the design that I do shows up well enough, and I thought I could achieve that with just knits and purls, but I'm looking at it and it's just the pattern's getting lost. In this yarn is really not super variegated or anything. It's got some speckling to it, but it's not good enough for, or versatile enough for lots of different kinds of yarn like I would like to make the pattern, so I'm ripping it out again. Maybe the 4th time will be the charm. I don't know. But if this is the first time you're seeing this, this is a new sock design that I have in my head right now that's inspired by the New York Public Library. I'm really excited about the design. I just have to figure out the best way to do it. And this is Sweet Sparrow Yarns in the Blackberry Mousse colorway, which is gorgeous. I love this colorway. Julie knit a Tegna out of this, and every time she was knitting the Tegna sweater by Caitlin Hunter, I just like, ooh, I have that skein in my stash. I really want to cast it on, and so finally the time is here for this design. So this is, like I said, Blackberry Mousse, and it's on her Gosling base, which is her MCN, and that's going to be for a design project if it will get its act together. I just need to like spend some time working on troubleshooting it and it will be fine. But that's the design process. It's fun, but it's a lot of like starting and ripping back. This is, like I said, the 3rd time that I have knit this, so we'll see how it goes. And this is in my Wild Handmade project bag. I love this. Drawstring bags are my favorite by far. Okay, so finally we're talking about it, the Clarke Socks knit along. So I expressed to you sometime like a week and a half-ish ago that I really wanted to knit a pair of Clarke socks for myself because I gave my sample to my loving, deserving mother. So I really want a pair for myself and asked if anybody would also be interested in knitting along with me, and several of you were, so I'm really excited about that. Today, actually, Sunday, May 6th, which is today, is the official start date of the Clarke Socks Knit Along, but fear not, it's gonna be very informal. I just like kind of want people to knit along with me. There will be prizes, of course, at the end, but whips are allowed. So if you've already started a pair and you just haven't finished it yet, by all means, please enter the whip. There's no rule that you have to be any percentage done or whatever. It's fine. So yes, whips are allowed. It's going to be a 2-month knit along. I said on my Instagram that I was going to have it end on June 21st because that was the first day of summer, but let's just make it a nice tidy 2-month knit along. So June, July, so we'll say July 6th. That is the end date. I'm going to say July 8th because that's my nephew's birthday. So July 8th is the last day for the knit along of the Clarke Socks knit along. If you're participating, I would love to see them on Instagram. Just hit hashtag Clarke Socks whenever you post it, or hashtag Jacqueline Salem, because I check all those hashtags all the time for my designs. I love seeing them. I still just get such a thrill. So if you're knitting them, just hit Clarke Socks on there. Yeah, and I would love to see your projects. So here are the skeins of yarn that I am considering for mine. I have not cast on quite yet. I might either tonight, since today's like the official day, or maybe I will tomorrow on the subway. We'll see. But I have 5 skeins that I am considering right now. And you've seen a lot of these before, but this is Knox Yarn Co. in the Memento Mori colorway, a beautiful purple and like chestnut brown color. This one I feel is like the most spirit of the Clarke socks when I was designing them. I kind of like, for some reason, like darker colorways with this particular pattern, but because it's, you know, into spring and summer right now, I love dark colors. I'm never going to stop using them, but you'll see when I show you the other ones that this is like, the other ones are more spring like, so we'll see. But I'm in love with this colorway. Memento Mori by Knox Yarn Co. And this is a 80/20. Ooh, I didn't know that before. This is BFL and nylon. Ooh, maybe I will use it. I don't know. We'll see. This is a superwash blue face luster and nylon mixture, and I love BFL yarn. Love it. It's perfect for socks because it's so durable. It just like wears really well, and it's also very soft. So, Memento Mori. Junk yarn in the Amalthea colorway. This is so springy and summery and like hella specklage. Look at this. So cool. I have no idea how she gets her speckles so sharp, but I love it. Love, love, love it. And this is kind of like mint, greens, pinks, and really pretty speckling. So this will look really, this will show off the pattern really well because it's so light. Except I'm not sure how that will knit up. Will it be like stripey, like, or micro stripey? I should look up finished objects on Ravelry with this yarn to see how, surely somebody has knit a pair of socks in this colorway. It's one of her first colorways, I feel. So I can see kind of how this knits up and make a decision based on that. But that is junk yarn in the Amalthea colorway, and this is a 75/25 superwash merino nylon. Contender number 3, this is the Wool Barn in the graffiti colorway. This was a gift that Mina Phillip, the knitting expat, gave me for my birthday last year, and it's just like a wonderful black and white, gray speckles, black speckles yarn. And I think this will look really, really pretty with the Clarke sock pattern. I know this will be a go-to color for socks. Like, it'll be a go-to pair of socks in my wardrobe just because it's so neutral and kind of goes with everything, and it's going to be really fun to knit because of all that really pretty speckling in it. And this one's also a 75/25 superwash merino and nylon, and it comes with this really pretty progress keeper / stitch marker technically, but yes, love that. So that's the Wool Barn in graffiti. The next one is this Bergère de France in the Imperium Beige colorway. This is one that you can just get at Joann's, but I love this colorway so much. I think it's so pretty. The only thing holding me back from knitting the Clarke socks with this is for some reason I just want a really basic pair of socks, like a 3x1 rib sock with this yarn. So that's kind of the only thing holding me up from knitting the Clarke socks with it, is that I kind of already have it in my head that I just want this to be an ultra simple pair of cozy socks. So, and then last but certainly not least, okay, I just had to confirm with Gabby because the colorway name wasn't on the skein. She also gave this to me for my birthday last year, so I sent her a picture of it asking if she could identify it by sight for the colorway name. This is her colorway called the Dream Kitchen. Love, love, love this. This is also one of my, I mean, all these are top contenders, but I just really like this colorway. And this is Once Upon a Corgi yarn on her penny base, which is an MCN. Merino cashmere nylon, and this is the colorway called the Dream Kitchen. And it's like, it's got like these like strawberry kind of coloring in it, but then also like speckles of like black and some gray in it. I just think it will look really cool knit up. Let me see if I can pull this down so you can see more of the skein. Super, super pretty. And I think that the effect of like the black gray bits will like mute it overall, even though, and it will have like these really cool like bright pops in it, but they're not like too bright. I don't know. I just really love this skein of yarn and have been waiting. I keep seeing it and think like, oh, maybe I'll knit that next. And then picking, you know, something else as we all have our stash babies. But this, like, I just really love this skein from Once Upon a Corgi, the Dream Kitchen. So this is a top contender right now. What do I pick? Help! I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm definitely gonna like take a picture of these colorways and post it on my Instagram. So if you have an opinion on which skein I should use, please go to that Instagram post and let me know. So these are my contenders for the Clarke Socks Cal. I would love it if you wanted to join in and knit yourself a pair, even if you've already knit it. I know a lot of people have knit the pattern several times, so if you're interested in knitting another pair, or you've been wanting to get in on the Clarke Socks fun, or you want to finish a pair that you've started, please join in on this Clarke Socks Cal, and the pattern is of course available on Ravelry. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is something that I actually forgot to show you last episode, and that is a sewing project that I've done. I have finished McCall's M7 407, and I did this sleep shirt right here. My neighbor Grace, who is Wizard Dreams, and I like talk about her nonstop, like why am I so obsessed with her? I don't know, but she has a job that gives her a lot of sample fabrics to try out and use in hopes that they will pick that fabric for the designs that they are producing for any given season. So they have the work perks of trying out a lot of different fabric, which means that she has a lot of fabric in her stash to use, and sometimes in excess, and she was going through and did like a big clean out of it, and I asked her if I could go through to take it before she donated it to, I think it was H&M that does a recycling fibers program. And so she said sure, and I came over and I got quite a bit of jersey fabrics, and I don't know what the exact content is of this knits fabric, but it is so soft, and I have so many of them in my stash now that are just like perfect amounts, kind of like 1.5 to 2 yards of fabric. So those are perfect for sleeping garments. I don't really wear knits fabric stuff. Well, I say that and I'm wearing a knits fabric dress right now, so I guess that's not really super true. It just depends. But this was like made, the drape on it was just made to be a sleep shirt, and it is so soft and comfortable. Here, I'll try it on right now on top of my dress. The pattern was pretty simple to execute. I did the entire thing on my serger. So I didn't finish the bottom, it just rolls up because it's jersey, and jersey doesn't, or knits fabrics I say, don't fray on the end, so it just kind of rolls up a little bit. I sleep in it, it's fine. And I did the same thing for the sleeve, so I didn't hem the sleeve either. It just rolls up, which is fine with me. It's so soft and breathable and comfortable. See if I can stand up a little bit to show you. It's a very like circular bottom, so it like flows out a lot at the bottom. I'm very floaty, like when I sit in it, it just like, oh, settles. It's like a very flattering night shirt, I guess you could say. I am usually, when I buy tops, I'm either a small or a medium, depending for ready-to-wear clothing. My bust is a size 36, so I checked out the sizing for what pattern piece it says to cut, and then looked at the finished garments, which is super important, the finished garment measurement, because for whatever reason, big four patterns build in so much unnecessary ease into their patterns between what size it tells you to cut out and what the measurements of the finished garment ends up being. So for example, let's just see here. This one actually wasn't too crazy. So this, I'm a size, like I said, 36 bust, and it says for a 36 bust to cut out the size 14. But looking at the finished garment measurements, the 14 was 39.5 inches, which I don't need 3.5 extra inches in an already like stretchy shirt. And the size 12 was 37.5. The size 10 was 36 on the money. So I guess I could have cut out the 10. I think, to me it looks like there's more than 1 inch of ease in this for sure at the best, but I thought it's a sleeve shirt, I want it to be loose and comfortable. So I cut out the 12 with the 37.5 inch finished measurement on the bust. So that's just kind of definitely something for newbie sewists, myself included in that, to watch out for, is to look at the finished garment measurements and not just the size it places you in, because that is, one size difference is actually not a lot compared to other ones that I've seen that I would cut like 2 to 3 sizes below what they tell me to cut. And oftentimes, unfortunately, the finished garment measurements are not printed on the back of this pattern right here. They're printed on the tissue paper itself. So you have to go looking for it to make sure it's not always handily on the back of the pattern. But yeah, like I said, this is McCall's M7407, and I bought it specifically for this sleeve shirt here. This dress is not really my style. It's a little too tenty for me, but if it is, by all means, pick it up. Check out the hashtag M7407 on Instagram. There are so many actually super cute variations of the dress, which I wouldn't have expected. It kind of made me rethink maybe I would wear something like that. But if you're interested, check out the hashtag for that, because there are a lot of cute ideas for ways to make this dress. And yeah, so I love the sleep shirt version though. That's why I bought it. So I'm happy to have made one. Like I said, super comfortable. Probably not going to get as much use out of it now that it's summertime and it's more long sleeve, but we'll definitely wear it in fall, winter. Yep, love that. So soft. Thank you so much, Grace, for that fabric de-stash. Okay, so some acquisitions. One of them is super, well, I guess it's all really special actually this week. Really special, worth watching. None of it is honestly stuff that you can buy, so if you're not an typical acquisition segment person, then fear not, because it's not that kind of thing. So the first thing I'll show you and talk about, I contacted Claire Gallagher. I believe on Instagram she is Claire M. Gallagher, and she has a podcast called the At the Window podcast, and it's just one of those like soothing voice podcasts that I love to listen to. I'm interested in the projects that she makes, and mostly like super interested in kind of her philosophies on making for other people. Last Christmas, she committed to giving gifts that are only either handmade by her or handmade by somebody else. And that just really like resonated with me, like struck a chord within me. Too often, I think sometimes we're afraid to give handmade gifts to people, either because A, they won't appreciate the amount of work that goes into making something for somebody, and B, I still think there's a pretty strong stigma attached to handmade things being of like poorer quality, which is, for us, we all know, not the case at all. In fact, a lot of times, depending on your materials cost, can be even more expensive, way more expensive than how you could buy it in a shop. So those two things, people not understanding the value of it, and then also people kind of associating handmade things as for, you know, like a poor economic status. I was really intrigued by her idea to only give handmade things to other people. So in mid-January sometime, I reached out to her via Instagram message and asked if she just wanted to do a swap with me of like only things that she made, or things like she did for Christmas, things that she made herself, or things that she bought that were handmade, and I of course would do the same for her. She happily accepted, and I was so excited about it. We both did not make our timeline, so I think we were gonna try to shoot for like sending it after a month. I'm still making mine right now, and I just got hers in the mail this week, so I'm glad that we're both kind of like on the same pace, but now I really need to get to it to finish mine. I think she's going to love it. I'm really excited. But I want to show you what she got, or what she sent to me. I'm so excited that everything has this embroidered kind of bit to it, because I am not good at embroidery. I just don't really like stitching things in general. My eyesight is just really, really terrible. So it's just not a go-to craft for me, but I'm so appreciative and think it's beautiful, but it's just not something I can do. So I was just so thrilled to see that she embroidered things for me. This is a lavender sachet. It smells so good. I mean, obviously, but oh, I just love it. And she embroidered this little lavender on it, and then this little one on the back. Can't wait to start using. Maybe I'll put this in my new design, just to kind of motivate me to work on that design more. I love this. And all of it is in this kind of linen, brown linen fabric, the things that she made, which I'll show you. The next thing is this little heart cushion that has this attached to it to hang, so I'm gonna use it as an ornament or hang it up on my wall during the year, and then she's embroidered the edgings of it and both sides with this similar design. Look how pretty this is. Oh, I'm just so impressed with the embroidery and the care that went into it, and all these, you know, different colors of felt. I love this. This also smells really good. It smells like the lavender, so a little bit from the lavender that was already in it, but something else. I can't figure out what it is. I don't know, maybe she put some sort of oil in it, because it's not like crunchy sounding like this is when I squish it. So maybe there's some sort of oil in it, or maybe it is just residual lavender that has kind of worn into the scent of all of the things. Or maybe it's the soap. She did send an artisan soap, but it doesn't smell like that. That soap is a sweeter scent than whatever this smell is. This is very fresh. Kind of like eucalyptusy or tea tree oily, but not those, but in that same kind of vein of scents. But yeah, love that. This I need to go, I know she talked about it on a podcast, but I stopped watching immediately because I didn't want to see what I was getting. I wanted it to be a surprise. So this I need to actually see what it is, if it has like a functional purpose, which is fine if it doesn't. I'm fine with this just being a pretty little cushion. Oh, maybe it's a pin cushion. That would make sense, right? Okay. God, if I say the word cushion, it will come. I mean, I'm not sure if I should be poking things into it, but maybe it is a pin cushion. I'll go look, but I think it could be a pin cushion now that I think about it. And she just embroidered these beautiful flowers with this kind of circle vine around it. How cute is this? It's cute is not the right word. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And then she made a notebook cover for me so I can replace the notebook that's in it. And it's got my initials embroidered on it with these other little flowers and vines. I love this. It's so, so special. And it's so squishy. Let me take the notebook out of it so I can show you. It's wonderful. So squishy. Absolutely beautiful. So, so stunning. And then the other two things that she sent in the package are things that were made by other people. This one is a bar of soap. I don't know what the scent is, let's see. Pink rhubarb and blackberry goat's milk soap. That smells so good. So, so good. And then she found these vintage glass buttons. I'm guessing in some sort of antique or charity shop. And I love the color. They're obviously, my couch, dark green. I love dark green. And they have like this kind of Art Deco feel to them. These are absolutely perfect. I cannot wait to use these. She's like right on the money with my taste for them. Normally for buttons I would like go for something ultra simple, but like for some sort of kind of vintage style cardigan, I think these are going to be perfect. Love these. Love them. So thank you so much, Claire, for sending me this absolutely beautiful package. I am so happy and thrilled that you accepted doing this swap with me, and once I finish mine for you, I cannot wait for you to open it, and I hope that you love it. Okay, so two more things that I want to talk about. The first is going to be the Washington County Farm and Fiber Tour that I went on last weekend, and then I also have a book recommendation for you. So let's talk about the Washington County Farm and Fiber Tour really quick. Just want to show you a few of the things I picked up, talk to you about the tour in case you're unfamiliar. The Washington County Farm and Fiber Tour is a tour of all of the farms that are in Washington County in upstate New York. It is the largest producing fiber county in New York State, I believe, is kind of why they do that. So in order to kind of draw more attention to the efforts that go into this and kind of build like a reputation around it and, you know, excitement and yeah, I guess just like around knitting local. They put together this tour once a year. It's always the last weekend in April, and myself and followers of the Yarns at Yinhu podcast, my favorite podcast by Sarah, she is on Instagram as Sarah Pomegranate. She normally organizes the Farm and Fiber Tour, and we call it the Knit Local Getaway. This year she was unable to organize it herself. She did still attend and come with us, but Carol Foster and Mary Jean Packer. Mary Jean Packer is of the Bat and Kill Fiber Mill, and Carol Foster runs Foster Sheep Farm and the yarn shop at Foster Sheep Farm over in that area. So we see them every year. We're all really good friends, and it's a lot of the same people that come to this same thing year after year. There are still, this year I think they did still have like one or two spots available, but usually it's like sells out really fast, like the spots to go. So if you're interested in attending the Farm and Fiber Tour, just pay attention to Sarah's podcast sometime in like the beginning of a new year, because that's kind of when she will go over details for how to get in on that if you're interested in doing so. So the Farm and Fiber Tour this year did not disappoint as per usual. It's always wonderful. I rode up there with Julie and Jenny, another goer, not Jenny of Tiny Paper Foxes, a different Jenny. She lives in New York City as well. And we all drove up there together and stayed at the retreat center. It was amazing. Yeah, visited all of our favorite farms, got to pet baby cashmere goats and baby sheep because it's lambing season, of course, so got to see all of the babies. Even at St. Mary's on the Hill, Cashmere, one day on Sunday, there were goats that were born at 6 a.m. that morning, and we were seeing them around 10 a.m. It was amazing. I just love it. But my tradition every year is to buy a sweater quantity of yarn from the nuns at St. Mary's on the Hill, Cashmere. I call it nun spun yarn, and to knit a sweater out of it. So in previous years I have knit, let me just go get them real quick. Okay, so the nuns spin yarn from surrounding area farms. This is not yarn of sheep that they raise themselves because they don't have sheep, they have cashmere goats. So they buy fleeces from other farms in the county and then spin yarn as part of their practice. So the first year before I knew it was going to turn into a tradition, I bought hand-spun Cormo. This beautiful Cormo yarn is just so velvety and soft. If you ever have a chance to buy Cormo yarn, do it. It's just as soft as merino, but more in a velvety way. And I knit the Brookings pullover, a pattern by Marie Green, who is Olive Knits, I believe, on Instagram. I honestly, this sweater is really soft, but I don't find myself wearing it that much, and I think it's because the length is really awkward. It's like not long enough to be tunic length, but not short enough to be cropped. So what I think I need to do is take out this binding and then rip back a little bit, like maybe an inch or two, to make it a truer cropped sweater, and then I would probably wear it more. But I do wear it around my apartment quite a bit. I just don't wear it out very much. It's so soft. And it's got like this bigger cable flanked with seed stitch, and then the smaller cables alongside it, and a body of stockinette. This was knit in the round. It's got 2 cables going down the sleeves. This is a really great sweater if you have a smaller quantity of yarn and just want to eke out the longest sweater you can with the yarn that you have. It's perfect for that. It's just a raglan shaped sweater, top down. So love this. The Brookings sweater, again by Marie Green. And then the other, last year I bought a BFL, this gorgeous gray BFL, and knit the Laurel cardigan. This is a free pattern on Ravelry. It's entirely seed stitch, and I swapped out the cable panel. Let's see if I can show you better. I swapped out this cable panel for this one right here. Originally it was like a horseshoe cable pattern, and I didn't like that. It looked like a little too country for me, and so I swapped it out with this Ensign's braid cable that I found instead. And I just love the effect. This is by far my most worn sweater. I wear it all the time. I love this cardigan, love it. Just chuck it on over anything. It's really long, super cozy and comfortable. BFL wears so well. It's got like a lot of a halo to it. I should take a gleaner to it. I did while I was there actually take a gleaner to get off some of the bigger pills. I'm not sure how much it's going to pill, but I don't really care. It's just so comfortable. I love, love, love this cardigan. Would highly recommend making it. So those are the sweaters that I've knit previous years. This year, the yarn I bought, it's so great. Look at it. It's a marled, it's Jacob yarn, so it's spun from Jacob sheep, and it's spun from 2 different fleeces, a black fleece and a white fleece, and then plied together to make this marled yarn. How gorgeous is this? Obsessed. Absolutely obsessed. I don't have that much of it. I have like 960-ish yards. Some of them are very different. You can see that one has a lot more white in it than this one, which has, more black. So I'll definitely be alternating skeins, or I could do a gradient and go from the lightest one to the darkest one. I think that would be kind of cool. First we like laid them out, and it looked really cool. We did like dark to light, or like, in a gradient way. But thinking of doing that. I don't have a sweater pattern in mind for this yet. Obviously, one of the first thing that comes to mind though is the Weekender by Andrea Mallory, just because she uses a yarn exactly like this in the sample. It was like a Brooklyn tweed something, or like the newsprint colorway, I believe, which is a black and white marl. So we'll see. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go for pullover or cardigan or not. I wear my cardigan way more often, although pullover is definitely more my style. So we'll see what I end up knitting, but the cardigan will definitely end up getting more use, so I'm leaning toward cardigan, but the Weekender obviously is not a cardigan sweater, it's a pullover, but we'll see. So this is the yarn I got this year from the Nuns, And then the other skein that I bought, the same farm that produces the Cormo yarn is Enzenbrook Farm, and I got just this one skein of DK weight Cormo in a gray color. It's just natural, undyed. So, so pretty. So soft. So I think this will just become a hat eventually. Love that. And that is it for my acquisitions from the Farm and Fiber Tour. I did buy 2 dryer balls for my boyfriend at his request, so I've already given those to him. And I searched specifically for dryer balls that were made with leftover yarn from these 2 purchases. I was able to find them. So I was very confident that I was able to find one that was made with felted wool from the BFL and one that was felted wool from the yarn they spun of this Cormo. So I think that was cool to like give him dryer balls from yarn that was produced for both of these sweaters. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about is a book recommendation. I'm about halfway through right now. I'm also not finished quite yet with Station 11, but I am plowing through that, so I'm more than halfway. Loving Station 11. It's really, really good. But I read a short story called The Husband Stitch, and I will say, if that title doesn't kind of already give it away, that these books are, I mean, it's not, if you like really light-hearted stuff, this is not going to be like the book for you. It's not, I mean, it kind of is a little bit heavy. I don't know. There's a lot of sexual content in these, I will say that. The book is called Her Body and Other Parties, and it's by Carmen Maria Machado. So good so far. It's a short story collection. The Husband Stitch is the first one. I finished 2 and I'm on the 4th one now. So yeah, I'm about, I guess, a third of the way through it. And I think the book is just brilliant. The writing is really wonderful. It really draws you in. Short story collections I already like because they're kind of bite-sized pieces that I can get through on the subway ride or something similar. So I really like them for that reason. But I've just been in a reading mood lately. So this book was really doing it for me. So if you wanted to check it out, like I said, I'm only a third of the way through, but they're short stories. So I can definitely recommend this. Her Body and Other Parties, Carmen Maria Machado. Yep, loving that. So that's my book recommendation. Along with Station 11, if you haven't read it, it is really good. I would also recommend these 2 books. I just remembered I forgot to draw winners for the 3 pattern prizes that I picked out. I will definitely be sure to do that in the next episode. So if you're not, if you win, I'm already going to go ahead and draw the winners after this and notify you in the comments, but I know that YouTube comments notifications, I'm not sure how much people pay attention to that. So if you did enter, just kind of watch up in the top right-hand corner, I think, of either, like on the website, there's like a little bell like for notifications. Just make sure that I didn't reply to your comment to tell you if you won one of the 3 pattern giveaways. I'll also announce the winner on the next podcast in case you don't respond to my telling you that you've won. Just give an additional ping that you've won, and if I don't hear back from you, then I guess I will draw for another winner on the following episode. So we have plenty of time for that, don't worry, but just giving you a heads up that if you entered to win, go back and make sure in your comment if I have it, to see if I've responded to you or not, to make sure. So I'll announce it in the next podcast as well, but just so you know. Okay, bye. And that is it for today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up or subscribe if you want to see more videos. Don't forget to check the Instagram post to help me decide what skein of yarn I should use for the Clarke socks. And I would love it if you wanted to join in on the Clarke socks fun. So with that, I will talk to you in a couple of weeks. See you next week, or not next week. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.